Hello my darlings, it's Dean back with another video. I told you that I would be getting here, and I have my trusty notebook here so that we can chat. I was going to talk to you about how to launch a new Poshmark closet. I did a video a few months ago on how to run a successful Poshmark closet, being that I've had a closet for almost a year, probably like 8 months so far. And it's very different when you have launched a store and you have a store that's working versus when you're just starting out. And I'm still a newbie in the game. There are so many other Poshmark sellers who have been in this thing since its inception and have been doing this for years. But as a newbie, it can be overwhelming, and so I wanted to be a resource for you guys and tell you how I'm doing in launching this new closet, and hopefully give you some clarity on how to really launch and be successful and have a successful launch. So I have my notebook here. We're just going to go ahead and go through my list. I have about 7 items here. I'm not going to stop and start the video. I'm just going to run right through. And yeah, so let's get into it. So in launching a new Poshmark closet, what's something that you need to do? List often. And I talk about this in the other video that I did, right? Like, you buy a bunch of stuff but then you don't list. I am so guilty of that because there are sales happening every day, and there were sales, I mean, in Chicago, in Dallas too. 25 cents, 50 cents, 69 cents Saturdays, 75 cent Fridays. I mean, down here, you know, I have access to, and then same with Dallas, I have access to, you know, the bins. There is so much thrift here that you can get. I can go thrifting every day and find different items, different amazing pieces, and just never get to listing. So one of the things you want to do if you're starting out, if it's just your closet, list the stuff that's in your closet that you want to sell. If you're going into this as a reseller, list every day. Every time that I do a video, I list. I learned that from, once again, you guys know Nicole State from State's Place. She's like my motivation. I'm like, whenever she's listing, I'm like, oh my gosh, why am I sitting here watching Real Love and Hip Hop Atlanta? I should be listing right now. I really should be listing. So Real Love and Hip Hop, that's my vice. Okay, but in all seriousness, list often. The more that you list, the more that your pieces and your items will come up in the, not the review, but it'll come up in the timeline. And so you just want to keep listing. The thing that goes with that too, or part 2 of that, is get to 100 listings. Okay, I know that, you know, especially if you're doing this part-time, it can be daunting. You're taking pictures, you're doing measurements and so on and so forth. But when you're starting out, remember, if you only have 5 pieces in your closet, that's not, especially if you're, okay, let me go back. I treat this as a boutique. You guys know in my former life, I was an assistant buyer at Macy's in Atlanta, or it used to be Riches, right? And so, if I just had 5 items on the floor, if I just had 5 shoes on the floor, that's not enticing to the customer, right? You want to treat your closet as if it's your boutique. If you want to be the Christian Dior, or not even Christian Dior, because they have more than 5 SKUs in their stores. If you want to be the kind of people that just have 10 items in your store and that's all you're going to do, well, you can be that person. But realistically, right, your boutique, you want to have an assortment and array to show your style aesthetic. So just keep on listing, get to 100 items, and just keep sharing. I would say do more than that, but just let 100 be your goal as you're starting out. Don't wait until you have 100. Just let 100 be your goal right now. That gives you enough to, as we're going to talk about in the next point, buy for parties. When you have 100 listings, you, for the most part, have items that can go in various parties, whether it's a certain vendor, whether it's Tory Burch or Kate Spade or Steve Madden, or Madewell, or Ann Taylor Banana Republic, or if it's, you know, trend-setting dresses, trend-setting style dresses, tops party, jeans party. When you have 100 pieces in your store, you're able to participate in all the parties and get the exposure. Remember, the exposure is the name of the game. So when I talk about that, let's talk about buying for parties. I live in South Florida. I used to live in Chicago. I've lived in Dallas, right? I live in these major cities that, for the most part, with our thrift, I can find designer items because I'm in a major city. But don't be dismayed if you're in a smaller city, because in Poshmark, they're having parties for jeans, like I said, for shirts, trendsetters, men's. You don't necessarily have to feel bad if you don't have access to, you know, Coach and Kate Spade and Tory Burch and all these other design parties that they're having. Work with what you have, right? So buy for parties. Now when I go out, I'm looking for items that I don't like. Right now I don't have many dresses, so I can't participate in many of the dress parties. That needs to change, right? Because I want exposure in those areas. So buy for parties. Buy in season. I'm guilty because I love fall. I love fall winter. I could care less about a short, about a skirt, about a tank top. That's just not who I am. And I know I'm a Florida girl, so I should, but I don't. Fall. I want capes. I want leather. I want faux fur. I want heavy jewelry. I want blacks and browns and tweeds. Well, in August on Poshmark, there's not too much of that going on. So I have to be acclimated to the market, acclimated to the season. So buy in season. Buy items that people are buying right now. Because remember, it's all about exposure, exposure, exposure. Okay, so buy for the season that you're in when you're just starting out. When you grow and you've grown your popularity, you can have items from all 4 seasons, right? But right now, when just starting out, buy for the season that you're in. Okay. Follow potential customers. I'm working with a few people now in launching their Poshmark closets from their own closet and starting to get into thrift. And one of the things that I'm having them do is actually go out and get customers on Poshmark. What does that mean? Every time that you list something and it asks for the brand, right? What you're going to do is you're going to go in on Poshmark. You're going to search for, like, for example, what do I have here? Say this was a Coach bag, okay? Say this was a Coach bag and I was putting this up on Poshmark. I would look for Coach bags or just Coach, and in the category put bags, and at the bottom at the filter where it says available or sold, I would click sold. I want to see all of the sold Coach bags that look like this. I'm going to go into each listing and I'm going to see how many people have liked it, because those people, for the most part, if it's already sold, they had an interest in the bag, right? They had an interest in the bag, but now it's sold. They may be looking for another one. I follow all the people that like that bag. Okay? Does that make sense? So let's say it again. You're going to do a search for your item. Say it's an Ann Taylor blouse. Okay? Or just put an Ann Taylor, searching for Ann Taylor. You have an Ann Taylor blouse. You're going to put category women's blouses. You're going to filter, go all the way down where it says available or sold, and you're going to click on sold. It's going to pull up all of your sold listings. You're going to look for a similar item. You're going to go into that item and you're going to follow everybody that liked that item, because what that's actually doing is saying, hey, I'm here, and prayerfully they'll follow you back and look in your closet and see that you have something similar. Ooh. If you want to get really down into the nitty-gritty, you can also go into the size. Okay, so instead of just putting blouses and sold, you can put blouse and then size 12 or 10 or 18 or whatever. That's another way to build your following. Okay. 30, 60, 90. Okay. So this is back from my buying days. I'm very cognizant of sell-through. Okay. I don't like to keep merchandise. I think of it, and it's all in how you see yourself, right? I see myself as an Neiman Marcus, darling, as a Saks Fifth Avenue, as a Bergdorf Goodman, all right? So when I see all the merchandise, I picture that all my items are on the sales floor. I don't want something, what is it, August? I don't want something that I've been carrying since May on my sales floor, okay? That's what, 90 days ago. So for me, I will list the price that I want, but know that during, oh gosh, I cannot remember her name. She's so good at Poshmark. OSC. I'm gonna tag her description. She's the best. Her and the Deal Queen when it comes to Sunday evenings and dropping the prices. I'm gonna leave her name because on Instagram she's amazing. On Sunday she's amazing. Okay, so follow her and she has all the information. But on Sundays, I say all that to say on Sundays, when you're able to drop your prices, then you drop it to what you will take. The high, the low, I'm not even say the lowest, drop it maybe 10%, okay? The goal is to not have items just sitting there. If nobody's looking at it, it's taking up space, it's taking up money. Try to get rid of it within 90 days. That's why I say 30, 60, 90. After I leave it full price for the most part. for the I want they 30 days, maybe like 2 weeks. It's like full price, and then I take the price down like maybe $1, $3. But 30, 60, 90. If something's still sitting in your thing, I can't. That's too. I really look at it as like a retail store. You are cluttering up my space. I want you gone in 90 days. So look at your sell through and how quickly you're selling through product. Okay, so 30, 60, 90 listed for the item that you want. Okay, so I listed for like your max. That's what you want. On a perfect day, this is what you want them to pay. But know that you may take 80% of that on a good day, on a Sunday. And I'm gonna leave. I cannot believe I can see her name in my head, but I don't want to spell it wrong for you guys. So I'm gonna put a description, and I'm gonna put her information in the description box so you can follow her. And the Deal Queen, amazing, both of them. And last but not least, this kind of doesn't go without saying, but don't compare yourself. I think that Instagram is a blessing and a curse, because there's so much information. There's so much great information out there, but there's also information out there that'll make you feel. And I suffer from this too, okay? Because every time I see somebody find Manolos in a bin, I'm like, oh my gosh, I want Manolos in the bin, okay? Right? It's so easy to compare yourself when you're seeing everybody posting all the stuff that they're sold, and you're having an awful day, or you haven't sold anything at all. You're starting out. You cannot compare your business to people who've been in the business for years and years and years, and they have tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of followers. Don't do that to yourself. You'll get there one day, but you're not there yet. So be glad for that one sale that you got, honey. Be glad that you listed today. Maybe you didn't sell anything this week, but you listed 10 items today. Bravo, darling, bravo. Celebrate that. Don't compare yourselves, because you're gonna knock yourself out of the game before you've even started. So, I don't want to say take Instagram lightly. Treat it for what it is. It's people displaying what's going on in their life and in their store at that moment. Nobody's going to post when they will know. There's some really honest people who just like, today was sucky. It was horrible. But just, take it with a grain of salt. Be appreciative. Celebrate with them that they're having an amazing day. But you can't compare yourselves to people who have been. That's like me, when I was working on my doctorate, and I would be in a room of people who were like to dissertation stage. Well, I'm just starting out, and it's like a 4 or 5 year program. I'm looking at them like, I wish I was at dissertation. I haven't even started my research yet. I'm sitting over here comparing my work to people who are almost done. Don't do that. Don't do that. It's just not fair to yourself. So 12 minutes, and I hope I gave you some good information. I just wanted to share that with you, because it's really hard when you're starting out, because you're seeing other people who are really successful. And my other store is amazing. It does really, really well. And this store, I'm like, okay, it's doing good, but I wish I had those tens of thousands of followers. But it will come, just like for me, it will come. And so, yeah, so that's it. Just wanted to share that with you. As with anything, if you have any questions, leave a comment if you have a question. I'm going to leave. I know the Deal Queen. I'm going to find her information. There's another lady on Instagram. I want to say it's OSC. I can't remember, but I'm going to put her information. She's a wealth of resources. I follow her, and the Mara shops as well. Amazing information, especially when it comes to like finding stuff in stock pictures. I just follow a bunch of people. They're amazing people on Instagram, so I'll leave their information below. And love you. We never pay retail. Follow me on Instagram at I am Dion Dean, and of course subscribe. All this great information I'm giving y'all. Bye. All right, love you. Bye. There are counterfeit Jimmy Choo, Louboutin, Manolo Blahniks out there, and a lot of times you can tell that it's not real because the symmetry of the stitching. Lining never lies. You're going to hear me say that over and over again. The lining never lies. So natural fibers and synthetic fibers, what's the difference? And why does that add to cost?